Hey, what is up, everybody? This is Steve Breach coming to you here today. I got to work a little bit earlier than I should have. I got a little bit of time to kill, so basically I'm just pulling a wrestling discussion right out of the my pocket here. Here we go. No wrestling news really out there, even though there was a Wrestling Observer Radio this morning. Only big news was basically that John Cena returned to action after his injury on Friday night, and all things is normal inside of the WWE, but I've been thinking about this for a while, and WWE really needs to have that next big star to sort of push them into the next sort of era that they're going to be in. They've got a lot of guys that can really carry the ball, and I think that they have a great nucleus of a main event that reminds me a lot of what the Attitude Era was like, with having so many guys to have different matches instead of just having to run the same match over and over and over again. Because what I think right now with WWE becomes so repetitive is that every time an angle starts, we know that we're going to be seeing the same match for 3 to 4 months. And instead of when the Attitude Era was out, you'd see a guy have a match and then they'd move on to another feud. Maybe if the match was really good, or you had a title match and a title change happen, you would see a rematch. But because there was Kurt Angle, Triple H, The Undertaker, The Rock, Stone Cold Steve Austin, there was this list of main event guys. You were constantly having to twist and twist and twist. And I know with WWE, they've got Kevin Owens. They've got well, he's not on the WWE roster yet, but everybody knows that Finn Balor is going to be there someday sooner than later. They've got Dean Ambrose. They've got Seth Rollins, who's already become WWE champion. They've got Roman Reigns, who's been in the main event of a WrestleMania. I think that is the future. I know that they've put out big money, and they've invested in Brock Lesnar, and Brock Lesnar is the guy who's not going to be there 12 months out of the year, but he is going to be on maybe 3 to 4 pay-per-views a year, and he is going to jump a number because he is Brock Lesnar. He's a former WWE champion, and he's a former UFC champion as well, and that brings a lot of eyes onto the product to see what this guy is going to do, and that's sort of what is a big draw for them. Is this is a guy that you don't get to see all the time. And it's like when Brock walks out on Monday Night Raw and we haven't seen him in a while, it's like with Jim Ross yelling into the microphone, business is about to pick up, because you know that it's about to change. Somebody in the ring is about to get fucked up. He's one of those guys that you look at and you believe that at any minute, if this guy gets mad, he can break somebody's neck in the middle of the ring. But honestly, out of all of these guys, I don't know. I know that another Stone Cold Steve Austin is probably never going to happen. We've been looking for 30 years to try and find who the next Hulk Hogan is going to be. Trying to find the next, goody two-shoes babyface who you can put out there and say, say your prayers and take your vitamins, drink your milk and all that, and just try and have a good, wholesome wrestling company. That's what is going on right now with John Cena. And I know that everybody wants us to get back to this Attitude Era with, cussing and violence and, just no rules, basically. And I think when you have something like that, the one guy that you need to rely on is Kevin Owens. I think that Kevin Owens could easily be one of the biggest stars that there is in professional wrestling. If you think about Stone Cold Steve Austin, he definitely wasn't one of the best wrestlers in the world, but the way that the fans just gravitated to this guy with this storyline of being able to beat up his boss. He flipped everybody off. He drank beer in the middle of the ring. These were something that, we were clamoring to so much. And I don't think Owens, needs to start drinking beer or add anything like that to his current gimmick. But easily the gimmick that he has is he is the everyman that is out there. Basically, he is what every wrestling podcast you're listening to me, it doesn't matter what Kevin Owens looks like. It doesn't matter what Kevin Owens weighs. Kevin Owens is an awesome wrestler. That's what it's always been when he's fought in Ring of Honor, PWG, anything else, is that he gets into a wrestling ring and he can do anything that he sets his mind to. This guy's been having great matches for years, and he's always had this thing hanging over him of basically, you're a great wrestler, but with your look, you're never going to make it to WWE, and he finally made it. And when he made his debut, he got to beat John Cena, one of the biggest stars that there is out there. Now, definitely an angle where it's like, you're not supposed to be here, you're not one of us, and this guy just continues to beat people week after week after week, and just finding ways to get through, I think definitely could, jumpstart the business. Kevin Owens looks like a guy who should be driving a truck for a living instead of being in a wrestling ring. And instead, this guy gets in there. He loves to fight. He's fighting for his family. It's just what he does to find a better life. This is a great, it's a great character for WWE, for people to base themselves off of and say that I want to be like this guy. It's not too hard. It's not like, Stardust and Neville, where it's a comic book sort of deal, where it seems like we've seen these guys wrestling for the past, 5 to 6 months. And it's because of, if you want Neville and Stardust to be comic book characters, what other comic book characters are going to fit into this? They're going to start, inventing more of these guys that just take on this role of, playing into this comic book world. Are we going to see like Doink and Dink and Pink and all of them sort of emerging out of this? But I think that there's more depth to the storyline of Kevin Owens, and I don't think that, definitely with me making this video saying that it's not going to happen, or, he's going to tail off, but we just saw him win a big feud over Cesaro after being involved with the NXT and losing to Finn Balor in the ladder match. But I really feel that Kevin Owens is somebody that WWE could base themselves around and push themselves into the next era, which I believe they're going to be moving into sooner than later with all of these guys. And once they do that, I'm not saying that anything's wrong with this era, because I think everybody's noticed I've poured a lot of money into being a wrestling fan through right now, so I definitely don't want to say that it sucks. I just think that a lot of the guys that are hanging around the main event right now are not going to be a part of the main events in 2 to 3 years, and we need to find what's going to be generating interest in WWE trying to grow the fan base, and I think that a guy like Kevin Owens is the guy that they need to go around.